Stage 7 is deceleration. This is the last stage of the forehand, and this is where we see a lot of variability in players. So we got to realize that the ball has already gone, most of the time it's already on the other side of the net by the time you're finishing your stroke. But many players finish differently and they decelerate in different paths. We know that players sometimes finish over the shoulder, sometimes they finish low, sometimes they even finish on that reverse type swing. Yep. So we have a lot of variability there, and that's a result of the swing path that's occurred.
Okay, so that's you know, one of the things I see with, like, you know, the windshield wiper forehand, people call it a number of things, where the racket comes like this. A lot of times I see players hit with kind of one swing path and then they try and tack that on, right? And is it fair to say that the follow through is basically, or at least it should be, the natural conclusion to how you were swinging prior to and at contact?
100% right. The goal of the deceleration stage, and the reason we call it the deceleration stage, is you're trying to slow down your arm.
Yeah.
It's what's the most efficient, effective way to slow down your arm so you don't injure yourself. Yep. And that's the number one goal. The ball's gone. However you finish has no impact on the ball. It's what's happened to contact that has impact on the ball. The finish is a result of what your swing path was before then.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. So yeah, don't try and force it, basically.
Yeah, and like you said, if you have a more, let's say, linear path that you start here and you finish there, and then all of a sudden you want to do the whip and finish like this, all you're going to do is give yourself tennis elbow. It's not going to help your tennis stroke.
Yeah.
If you're coming more rotation and you come around the ball very quickly, it may look like you're finishing like this, but hopefully you've got that good extension, and then you finish across.
And what you've looked at how sort of different muscle groups fire and are activated at different parts of the various strokes. What muscle groups are responsible for decelerating the racket?
So in any form of deceleration, we have parts of the body that play more of a role. And in the upper body especially, we have the posterior side of the shoulder. So you'll hear the term the rotator cuff muscles, they play a role. You have these smaller muscles of the back called the rhomboids that play a role. And they need to be developed, and a lot of the time they need to be developed eccentrically, meaning you may hear the term negatives, doing negative movements. So if you think about it from a bicep standpoint, if this is my weight, going up is a concentric movement, and coming down is the eccentric. So it's kind of a lengthening of the muscle.
Yep.
And there are certain exercises we can do with the upper back to help protect that, so that hopefully we don't have any shoulder problems related to the deceleration aspect of the forehand.
Okay, and it's also, the reason I asked you that question is because, you know, arming the ball is such a big problem. Typically prior to contact, where the entire arm is tense, but I think a lot of players keep it tense into the follow through and think that, you know, their biceps or triceps or wrist or something is supposed to be heavily involved in the deceleration, or maybe it's more, I forgot the name of the muscles, but...
Now the posterior muscles in the shoulder, so that covers that whole range of muscles that have an impact, because we have to realize that our muscles work together. It's very rare that a single muscle does anything by itself. So you have antagonists and agonists, basically, for bicep and tricep. When you're doing a bicep curl, your tricep is relaxing. When you're doing a tricep press down, your bicep is relaxing. So we have to work in this environment with the tennis strokes as well.
Yeah, one of the places I was trying to lead this is just that, is it fair to say that deceleration should feel smooth and relaxed? Yeah,
it's definitely a aspect of the motion that should feel very comfortable. Your contact has occurred, your extensions occurred. Now it's just a relaxation of the arm so that we can then get ready for the next shot.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So yeah, that was what I was sort of getting at, just from a feeling perspective. So if you hit, and you know, we've talked about before, you want to have stability prior to, at, and a little bit after contact, which means your muscles need to be engaged, it sounds like, but then after that stage, it's more just relaxing everything.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.